Can you hear me? You can. Good. I think even without this, people tell me I have a headmistress's voice that you can hear in Shanahan. So anyway, here we are.
Miss?
Well, anyway, I feel
Miss?
like going out there with a megaphone and saying to people, do you realise what you're missing? This is much better than the sun. Okay. So anyway, so it's my very great pleasure to introduce Martin Shanahan of Fishy Fishy Restaurant Kinsale. How many of you been there? Yay!
Woohoo!
Good. And you started off in Rockwell, I just read.
That's right.
A minute ago.
Yeah.
And in Rockwell College, which is near Kattan, a brilliant catering college. Another Rockwell.
Another Rockwell, yeah.
So this is a get-together of everybody here. Good. And then you went on to the Butler Arms and on. And then you started, I remember your lovely gourmet store.
That's right.
In Kinsale. He's been ahead of the curve the whole time, this boy. And then, of course, the lovely Fishy Fishy restaurant. That was 2006, was it?
Yep, opened
Yeah.
in 2006,
Yeah.
just before the crash.
I know. Well,
We were like the Titanic, we sank, but we came back up.
Oh, well done. Well, basically, that's the crash. If the food is good enough, crash or no crash, people will come back for it. And that's exactly what happened. And but since then, he's become a star of stage and screen. You know him all from all the various different programs on RTE and all the rest of it, and more of it to come, I hear.
Yes, hopefully.
So I won't spend too much time chatting. I also want to introduce you to Tracy here. Tracy has been running this whole area of the food festival all weekend. So it makes it so easy for all of us guest chefs. We come in, everything's ready, and there it is, and off we go. So wouldn't you all love that in your kitchens? Have somebody else doing your mise en place for you. But anyway, tell us, what is it you're going to cook for us this afternoon? Now, well, actually, before I do that, I want to, because you've really concentrated on certain, and always stuck to your ethos of using local, fresh, seasonal fish, and you serve it sort of simply.
Yep.
And you've stuck to that all the time. And I loved this quote from you, as far as I understand. Fish is nature's fast food. It's a gift, not a commodity, and deserves our respect. And it's really, really, I think, important to remember that fish really is the universal fast food.
Yep.
The quicker you cook it, maybe seconds, a minute or two, the better. So there's no excuse for any of us. Nowadays, I know we're all busy trying to keep all the balls in the air, but if you get a little piece of lovely fresh fish, it's so easy to make it delicious, and everybody thinks we're wonderful if we do that.
Exactly, indeed, and it's so simple. I think that,
Yeah.
And I suppose our philosophy always has been, go as close to source for it, right? And then you can't go wrong. Now, I know for you guys, because obviously you probably have to shop, I'm lucky enough that I can go down the pier and talk to the fishermen and say, I'll have this, and this. But what I would say also to anybody is, the most important part of a meal, I think, is the purchase, right? You must buy, right? You buy, you go in, you will get a relationship with your butcher, your fishmonger, your vegetable grower, and by doing that, right, you're laughing, right? Also trust. It's all about trust. There is nobody behind any counter in Ireland that it wants to sell you a bad piece of produce.
Yeah.
So, again, I always say that,
Yeah, but on the other hand... fish is a very perishable product.
100%.
So basically, obviously, if you're a fishmonger, you need to try and sell all your fish. So it's really important to develop a relationship with your fishmonger. I don't want to be misunderstood, but basically, if you develop a good relationship, and if they know that you really know what fresh fish is, you'll get the best fish.
And you're right. And 100%, yeah.
Yeah.
The other thing I've learned is when I talk to people, a lot of people kind of, okay, you come with the recipe in your head, in your mind, right? And you have the cookbook and you say, okay, I'm going to make this tonight. And you go into your local fishmonger and you say, oh, I'd love a bit of cod. Sorry, we've no cod. And a lot of people, I started as a fishmonger, and a lot of people would kind of walk back out the door. And I'd say to myself, what happened there? She wanted cod, or he wanted, and I said, why don't you offer him a nice bit of hake, bit of whiting, with lovely fresh white pollock. Really, when fish is fresh, honestly, whether in the white fish line, especially the round fish, hake, haddock, whiting, white pollock, ling, exactly.
Yeah, haddock, yeah.
The exact same recipe will work with any fish. And I think when I done the first Martin's Mad About Fish, in my head from talking to people, I came up with an idea. I said, no skin, no bone, no fear. They were the three things, right? Two things, skin and bone,
Yeah.
right? We've gone back a little bit, like in Fishy Fishy, we always do a sole in the bone. That has bone in it, right? Probably something like a red mullet, we leave the skin on it because we want a nice crispy skin. A mackerel, I call mackerel the rasher of the sea. It is the rasher of the sea. Think about it. It's full of flavour.
My favourite fish.
Oh,
actually.
yeah, I think it's beautiful.
When it's fresh, my absolute favourite fish. Yeah.
You know, but I'd say that to people, like, don't go in kind of, you know, tunnel vision that you want cod, you want hake. Always remember there is an alternative. There is always an alternative. Don't walk out the door and end up going down to the butcher. Is there any butchers in the house? No, thank God.
We're not trying to do you out of business either, but nonetheless.
No, yeah.
Actually, when you mentioned bones there, I go back so long and everything. But I mean, when I was a child, of course, fish was almost like a penance. So it was something you had on a Friday.
Yes.
And so on. And then it was always, oh, mind the bones, mind the bones, mind the bones. So we were all terrified of
that's right,
of fish and so on. So we've moved on from that.
I think we've turned so much now, right? I think the quality of fishmonger in Ireland, the quality of fish in Ireland, right? And also the preparation. It's all down to preparation, again, building the relationship and asking your fishmonger, don't be afraid, can you skin it, can you bone it for me, right? Because if he does that or she does that, the chances are you'll come back again next week. Where if you know, when we were, as I say, fishmongers, you know, and you handed out a whole John Dory, the chances are that person doesn't have the knife skill to go home and cut it, right?
Yeah.
So will they come back?
You want to make it as easy
you want
as
it
possible.
easy as possible, yeah.
Tell us, what have you in store for us this afternoon? We'll
this afternoon, I'm going to put up my hand and I'm going to be very honest here. I was working this morning in Fishy Fishy. I came home, I packed everything, I got everything ready, came home, had a shower, drove past the restaurant. In my head, I had it all in the back of the car, right, in an ice box. And I arrived down here and I was like, little. But to be fair, when I came in to get, I said, if I can't get something in the home of fresh food, I'm in the right place. This is a larder, right? And to be fair to everybody, right? I came in this
big
amount.
3 cheers for
Yes,
Tracy.
yes.
It's not me, it's you.
Went to the boot of the car, found nothing in it, and then pulled lots of fish out of the somehow or other.
Martin found it all.
Well
If
done.
you look in the mirror, is there a mirror or something?
No, if it's
and the camera there. Look at that. I mean, an hour ago, there was nothing on the table. And all of a sudden, I came back and I said, my God, are you looking for a job? So I think what we're going to do...
Don't you dare poach her from us.
So in my head, initially, I was coming down here to do surf and turf. So can I ask the audience, give me your best variation of surf and turf. Okay. Give me the one that comes to mind. Steak and lobster, right? Steak and lobster, our friends on the other side of the Atlantic, they like a big steak and lobster. But I was away doing some program there with Paul Flynn years ago called Surf and Turf. And I was down in Valencia Island and I came up with the idea, we landed and we said, okay, Paul went off and he done duck and chocolate. So he found a duck farm and chocolate and Skellig chocolate. And I went diving for scallop. And then I went into Waterville, Peter Huggard, my old boss in the Butler Arms, and we made black pudding. So I thought black pudding and scallop would be wonderful, you know? So think about it, it's really, right, you got the earthiness of the black pudding and you got the sweetness of the scallop. And then I thought, okay, what are we going to put under it? So I was driving down into Portmagee and I saw a big field of parsnips. I stopped the car, my director was with me and the cameraman. And he said, where are you going? I said, just a minute. And I went in over and I came out with 2 parsnips. And the cameraman, and we had a big dispute in RT, right? Martin, that's called pilferage. I said, it wasn't. I was just borrowing them. And so we came up and we'd done a lovely cream parsnip, but with the parsnip, peeled them, chopped them, cooked them in a little bit of water, lemon, and milk, right? Just cook them slightly. You only have to chop them about that, right? Then we strained them. Then we blend them with honey, thyme, and nutmeg, and a little bit of butter, no cream or anything, right? And it's absolutely, when it works with the scallop and the black pudding, it was stunning, you know? It was stunning.
Well done.
So that's where we came up with it. But today, we have the scallop, we have the black pudding, but we don't have, anybody here from the press? So please, when you walk out this door now, you will not remember this quote. There is no parsnips in Ballymaloe. There's no parsnips.
The season's over, darling.
There no parsnips to be had in Ballymaloe. But what I did get inspiration from, I went in next door and I met all the suppliers, and to be fair, they were fantastic. So this lady, I love kombucha, right? And she said to me, I said, what will...
It's a bit of a stretch from a parsnip.
Yeah, isn't it?
At the same time.
Well, look, it has turmeric, ginger, and honey in it,
Oh, no,
right?
still.
Yeah, right. So here, Darina, look, you're meant to be with me.
No, I'm intrigued and
to be fair, she
fascinated.
gave me a great idea, and she said, up in Donegal, there's a chef who cooks his carrots in kombucha.
Oh, well, now we like that.
No,
yeah.
so look.
Yeah.
So now, so I think what I'm going to do, I'm going to cook the carrots in kombucha. We're going to sear the scallop. Then we're going to do the black pudding, and I'm going to make a lovely dressing in the Nutri-Bullet of Anna. But
Yeah.
I think what we're going to use rapeseed oil, we're going to use some vinegar, some honey, little bit of thyme, and we're going to blitz it, and we're basically going to drizzle that vinaigrette over the combination.
Well, now.
And the second dish, if we have time, is, to be fair, the lads came back 10 minutes later with this most beautiful Plaice. So I'd like to do a dish with Plaice if we have time, right?
Yeah.
And I think we will, right? So we're going to do
Okay.
Plaice with apricots, spring onion, little bit of chili, so we got the sweet and the heat, a little bit of lime and coriander.
Yay, good. Let's go.
Okay?
Good. Don't we love the shirt? How about that? Yay, a fishy, fishy shirt.
I
Good.
tell you the story of the shirt. For my 50th birthday, which wasn't that long ago, about
Yeah.
12 years ago, I'm in Fishy Fishy, and this gentleman arrived in with what they call like a suit, cover for a suit, like you're going to a wedding. And he says to me, Martin, Mr. Copeland would love if you put on the shirt and got a photograph outside Fishy Fishy, and you can do whatever you want with it afterwards. I thought, Jesus Christ, this is great, you know? So I put it on, and I was impressed. My wife looked at me and said, you're not going to wear that. I said, of course I am. I said, look at it. So every now and then, I wear it, and look, 12 years later, if my wife's in the audience, she'd say...
Well, the button's still closed,
So
which
do
is
ya?
pretty good.
She would say, right, 12 years ago it didn't fit you, and it still doesn't fit you. So I would wear it quite often, yeah? So I'm going to, later, if we get a chance, I'm going to think about it. I want you to tell me, to the closest number, how many fish you think are on the shirt.
Oh my God.
Now,
Nice question.
Yeah. What do we win something if we get it?
Oh,
I think we do. I think we do.
Yeah.
We have a surprise.
better.
I think we have a surprise. So look, we're going to start with the rapeseed oil, right? And again, we're going to do the lemon one with the Plaice, and I'm just going to do normal rapeseed oil from Donegal. What I like about cooking with rapeseed oil is the heat. It gets a much higher temperature than your regular vegetable oil, right? It puts a lovely colour on things, and it has a nutty flavour. And again, it's full of omega-3s. And the nice thing about it is, it's Ireland's answer to extra virgin olive oil. Yeah? So I think it's wonderful, yeah? Thank you. It's great having an assistant. Now, the next thing, have we insurance?
Well, this is an amazing thing. I really don't fully understand it, but it comes from the
Yeah, on it.
outside there on the right-hand side.
Yep.
There's a biodigester, and
And the back one.
apparently, now I'm not going to be able to explain it properly because I don't fully understand. But a lot of people, everybody, I suppose, has some household waste. Our answer to food waste, if there is some, is hens, actually. But anyway, a lot of people wouldn't have that. So that gnocchi out there...
My gug.
What?
my gug.
My gug, okay, rather than gnocchi, I'm sorry. That sounds very bad. Actually, you put your your leftover scraps of food into it. And anyway, I don't know what it does to it. But out at the other end comes...
Biogas.
Biogas, yeah. So anyway, yes. So
And so this
basically,
hob-
and then the gas is powering this thing. So it's magic. Now, if you want the whole story, you need to go and talk to the people out there because I can't understand it properly. And if that was, this is actually being powered from out there. And,
There's a blue bag right in that back corner, and we've been feeding my gug since Wednesday with cooked food from the farm,
Good.
so all of our leftovers, and it's been turning it into biogas, which we're now feeding all the way up. And so there's a lovely green hose, you can see it, don't touch it, coming all the way up from the blue bag in the back onto our hob. So all weekend, all of our chefs have been using biogas. Amazing.
Yeah, and I've got, none of us have any connection to the company, just in case
Yeah.
you're thinking that. I only
Sustainability.
heard about it yesterday and I was fascinated.
that
And I
amazing?
don't fully understand, but that's what's happening. So
Kieran and
don't
Fiona
give
are
out
down the
about
back.
that. That's what's powering it.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
So while the girls are talking here, look, everybody knows how to cook a carrot, yeah? You know how to peel it in slices, right? And most important, what do we say? Kombucha.
Oh, kombucha.
Kombucha,
Oh,
right? So I'm going to trust the lady from Donegal that she tells me they're going to come out amazing, right? So
Right.
funny thing when you're cooking fish, right? I always say the vegetables always take far longer than the fish does, right?
Yeah, it's
Most
true.
important thing here now, you want a good hot pan. So I have a good hot pan here, right? Our carrots, right, are cooking away. And I'm even looking at it here, right? There's a syrup coming on it already from the
Yeah.
kombucha, yeah? There's a lovely syrup in it, you know? Look at that, look, see it, Darina?
Yeah,
see
and
the
the
lovely,
bubbles
yeah,
in
and
the
the bubbles,
centre.
yeah, exactly. Lovely syrup on it,
Yeah.
yeah? Again, now, remember, this dish is very fast, simple, and easy. And that's, to me...
That's what we like.
That's what we like, exactly. And that's what it should be about, yeah? So, right, like I say, I done this dish initially with black pudding. I think I looked at it and I said, okay, the scallop is white, the black pudding, the contrast in colour. Now, in Fishy Fishy, we actually do it with white pudding. And we do it with Carberry white pudding. And I think it has more zip to it.
Yeah.
You know, the white pudding, the black pudding is nice, right? Black pudding as a pudding is lovely.
Yeah.
At breakfast because you have everything else around you. But the white pudding, the flavours of the white pudding and Carberry are just stunning, yeah?
Yeah.
So we do
She's
white
really
pudding
good,
instead,
that
yeah.
girl in Carbeg, yeah.
Okay, so
Good.
that's that. Go on, Darina, talk to Leslie because we're going to have to wait 2 or 3 minutes for the carrots.
Good. Whose black pudding is this?
Ross Carberry.
Right.
Oh, it's Ross
It's
Carberry
Ross
as well.
Carberry as well,
It is,
yeah?
Oh, brilliant, yeah. Good.
Yeah.
Um,
Okay, so, right, again, remember I was talking about the rapeseed oil, right? Again, to the best of our ability, right? Let's keep it at home. Let's buy Irish. I rarely, if ever, I cook with olive oil, right? I have one dish on at the moment in the restaurant with olive oil. We do a John Dory. We sear it in a regular rapeseed oil, yeah? Then we take it, we put it on the plate. I put in some extra virgin olive oil, a little bit of balsamic vinegar, sliced garlic, semi-sun-dried tomatoes, a little bit of fresh thyme, and lemon zest. The zest of the lemon. The amount
Yeah.
of people that don't use the zest of lemon is
Lemon,
crazy.
yeah.
It's crazy. It's like, you know, when you're making lemon juice, zest it beforehand, yeah? You can put it in the freezer if you want, yeah? And then just cut it very fine, put it in, and I use the olive oil for that, yeah?
Yeah.
And it works really well. And on the side, we give them a lovely portion of crispy potatoes. So the crispy potatoes soak up the olive oil, yeah? That's the only dish I do, you know?
Yeah. Actually, then with this is kind of talking about no food waste and sustainability and everything. What do we do with all our citrus peels that are left over? There's all sorts of things. The hens don't like them, so they take ages to rot down the compost. So we dry them out, and I have an old aga in my kitchen. It's older than I am, if you can imagine such a thing. And we throw them into the cool oven, and they dry them out, and they make the most amazing fire lighters. So you get rid of the thing at the same time. So all of the citrus peels we do that with. If you don't have to have an alga, you can throw them into your oven when you turn off the oven and they dry out. You might have to do it a few times, but then this smells like burnt orange or something. It's lovely.
Gorgeous.
Yeah.
So our carrots are almost there, and I just recognized the lady, the kombucha lady. Can you just put up your hand there and stand up for a second? I'm converted, yeah?
Yeah.
Well done, yeah?
Good.
Our carrots are almost there. So again now, our rapeseed oil, right? Most important thing is a good hot pan. And I'm going to ask you a question. How do you know when the pan is hot? When you're at home. The fire alarm goes off. It's true, I put off more fire alarms on TV studios than anybody else, right?
Rory was demonstrating this morning. The fire alarm went off.
Oh yeah, the fire alarm will go off, right?
Yeah.
But just don't take the battery out, but get the pan as hot as possible, right? Now with your scallop, if you see here, there's a little muscle here, a little white part there, a little muscle, right? It's better to nick that off. There's nothing wrong with it. It is edible, but it tends to be just that little bit kind of chewy. So this one, somebody got here before me. Well done. And I'll take this one off. And again, now with this, I am going to season it in salt because, again, with fish, I always say to people, although it comes from the sea, it's not naturally salty, right? So it needs salt, it needs lemon, it needs lime, it needs something to bring out the flavours. Eh? So that's that. Right, we'll put in our pudding. Very simple. While we're here, I forgot, Darina, we never made a dressing in the Nutri-Bullet.
Oh, goodness me, sorry. Was
So-
I meant to do that?
That's all right. Okay,
Yes.
everybody has a Nutri-Bullet.
We do not.
Right, we do, of course. Look, that's
If you
why I have
haven't
the
got
body.
a
That's why I have the
Nutri-Bullet-
body I have.
If you haven't got a Nutri-Bullet, just put it into a bowl and whisk it all together.
Yeah,
It'll be
just,
grand. Yeah.
Beautiful. Turn it off.
Yeah, please. So what we're going to do here, right? I just picked up inside non-alcoholic mirin. That
Yeah,
is
good, we
interesting,
like
right?
that.
A little bit of non-alcoholic mirin.
It's a sweet
We
Japanese
have-
wine.
High bank cider apple vinegar.
Yeah.
So imagine
Oh,
now
we love
all
that.
that we're going to get. Yeah? So will we put soya? We won't, because soya won't work. I don't think soya works
So
with
it
fish,
would
but not.
overpower it, yeah.
It overpowers it. We'll put a little bit of honey.
I think that's East Cork honey by the look of it, I think.
Uh,
no, it's West Cork honey. West Cork honey. Mrs. loves
the
honey.
best bees in Ireland come from West Cork.
Yeah.
Right?
Wow.
So that's your West Cork honey. We'll do, again, a little bit of salt. Whoop. Little crack of black pepper. Again, the pepper and the salt for seasoning, the pepper will give a nice little bit of heat to it. Now, to bring that all together, I would say we need a bit of mustard. Anybody have mustard in the house? That's all right, don't worry about it. You have to imagine now, right, where, because again, that was all my fault, yeah? Right, so you put in your mustard, and most important, you want a bit of citrus, lemon, lime. You want a bit of sharpness to bring out, to complement the fish, the scallops, to bring it out.
Yeah, lemon's really your friend in the kitchen, isn't it?
Indeed, yeah. And then I would say thyme, if we have fresh thyme. Look
Yeah.
at that. Here, come here.
You have it.
Yeah.
Would you be doing anything tomorrow
Yeah.
night? So, we'll put in our thyme. And I like to just take the leaves off, not the stalks, right? And what I've found lately, believe it or not, that dried thyme, I think, has more flavour than fresh thyme. Do you find that?
Do you know I don't?
Yeah.
But anyway, you
know.
and I might have a different relationship with thyme. There we are. You never know.
Well, I know we're of the same vintage. I think we're...
We are not. I'm years older than you. 75 and up, going upwards.
Come here, you're only
There we-
beginning. You were only
There we
beginning,
are.
yeah? So look again now.
No, there's no oil. You're putting no oil in
No
here.
oil in it, Jem.
No oil, yeah.
in, right? But in your head, imagine there's mustard in there as well to bring it all together. If you
Yeah.
don't have mustard, actually, an egg yolk would work well.
So
yeah?
the mustard would help us to emulsify
To
as well, wouldn't it?
emulsify, exactly, yeah.
Do you want me to grab
Yeah.
some mustard?
Yeah.
No, yeah, if you can get some mustard,
Yeah.
would be great, yeah?
If I'm
Okay, so imagine now in your head, right, you're looking there, right, the black pudding. So what we're going to do, because that was my mistake, I'm just going to leave the black pudding here for a second, okay? Normally you'd leave it warm there, but this dish, you can cook both elements together in the pan, right? So put in your pudding, because your pudding is going to take a little bit longer.
Take a minute.
So again, to get the lovely colour in the scallop, I want the heat there, right? So I have the heat. So we see mustard?
on
It's
the way.
coming. On the way.
It's on the farm.
We're just picking it at the moment. There we are.
So I said, I hope there's nobody here from the press.
I've asked for a mustard or an egg, and whichever gets here quicker.
Quicker, okay, that's
Yeah,
grand. Yeah.
the challenge is
See,
on.
there's a chicken running by there. Quick, get that chicken. So, yeah, we'll wait 2 seconds on that, yeah. Go on, Darina, tell us the story there. Yeah. Go on.
Okay, I'll tell you my story. I was a fishy story, actually. I was brought up in a little tiny village in the Midlands of County Laois called Cullahill. It was halfway between Dublin and Cork on the main road, and a lot of people actually know where Cullahill is. Nothing to do with me, but basically the hill comes down into the village and then up the other, and it's a really fast road. So the cars would speed through the village, and then there was always a speed trap in my brother's gate. But anyway, that's nothing got to do with fish. Anyway, I came down here in the late 60s, and arrived on a Sunday in June. And I remember my mother and my brother who delivered me down drove off. We went into the kitchen, Myrtle and Tim, who's now my husband, and I. And somebody came to the back door with a whole bucket full of Plaice. Now, Plaice, as you know, is a flat fish. It's easy to recognise, lots of orange spots and so on. And I knew what Plaice was, even though we were very much living in the Midlands, and the only fresh fish we ever got was occasionally a little rainbow trout. But anyway, fish to us was something that came on the bus, was delivered on the bus from Dublin, on the way down on a Thursday. The bus would have a whole lot, the CIE bus would have a whole lot of boxes of fish, and they dropped them at shops the whole way down on the way to Cork. Okay. And so there was always Plaice and always usually whiting and red fish, as they used to call it, which was smoked fish, and occasionally there would be Plaice. So we'd race down to the shop in the village to see could we get the Plaice at the minute the box was opened. And Mummy would just fry it in seasoned flour, at least toss it in seasoned flour, fry it in butter, and we'd have what we called, understandably, fried Plaice for supper. And we really loved it. Anyway, fast forward to Ballymaloe again. In comes this bucket of Plaice, and they were hopping in the bucket. Myrtle showed me, literally took them out and showed me how to fillet them and so on. And she said we were going to have Plaice à la Meunière for supper. Right. And I thought, my God, this sounds very posh. Anyway, and she dipped the Plaice in seasoned flour, cooked it in foaming butter on the pan, and put in a little bit of lemon juice, and that was Plaice à la Meunière. And we sat down at the table, and I took a forkful of this, and it was, you know, those occasional moments in life when it's like a eureka moment, and I thought, my God, so this is what Plaice is meant to taste like. And I then realised it was probably the first time in my life I actually tasted fresh fish. And before that, I was happy with the Plaice that we got used to the flavour of. Yeah. I now know that must have been at least 5 or 6 days old. So, you know, you get used to different flavours. But, and many, many people, I believe, actually have not had the privilege or the exciting moment of tasting really fresh fish. Yeah. And then you know why people get excited about fish. And that's why, in many ways, mackerel is one of my favourite fish, because it comes for a short time. And, of course, the mackerel stocks are really depleted, but you get it for a short time in the summer. You bring it home. The fishermen always say the sun should never set on a mackerel, you know, so, and you have it, and you think, oh, my God. Anyway, sorry, I think I've more than filled the time.
You're okay.
There we are.
The pan went on fire while you were talking. So again, now recoil in your minds, right? So the pan really hot. We've the rapeseed oil in it, our carrots and the kombucha right now. So to the kombucha lady, right, because it evaporated off a little bit. I'm going to trial something, and we're going to put a little bit back in there. And into the carrots, I'm going to put a little bit of flat leaf parsley. Okay, that's all. A little bit of flat leaf parsley. Then we're going to put a little bit of black pepper and a small little bit of sea salt, right? Again now, the most important one is here. Okay, so remember now my scallops I've seasoned. This is a great tool as such, right? Thank God I rarely burn myself anymore, because this is fantastic. Look,
little tongs.
They're little tongs, and they're so cheap. So if you watch now, right, our pan is lovely and hot. Right? And again, if you're ever cooking anything, right, always put it in and put it away from you, because then if the oil splatters, it splatters away from you, not into you, you know?
What a great tip.
So look, again now here. And also, if you notice, I think cooking is all about patience, right? So you have to be patient. Sometimes I see people, they put it in the pan, they start shaking the pan. Leave it like that now, because we want to get a lovely caramelization of the scallops, right? So all the sugars that are coming out, believe it or not, I read there lately that scallop is one of the best things for you. 80% protein in it, yeah? There's 80% protein in the scallop, right? So it is, now if you can see, right, I think now, look at that
lovely.
now. Look,
can you see that there?
See the beautiful colour on that, yeah?
The juice is caramelized.
Exactly, yeah. And also, if you notice, right, we don't have a lot of oil in the pan. You don't need a lot of oil in the pan.
And the minute it changes from sort of kind of translucent to opaque, then it's cooked.
Then it's cooked, yeah. I would give it with a scallop. It's better to eat the scallop medium rare,
with
right?
a little sort of pink in the
exactly,
center.
yeah. So again now, right, we're going to do a little presentation here. So I'm going to put some of the kombucha carrots. Again, right, we'll pop them in here. And then we're going to do just a black pudding each, 1 scallop each.
Lovely.
Okay. And then there is the milkshake that we made earlier. Okay. And we're going to drizzle that over.
So this is the dressing.
This is the dressing, exactly.
That was whizzed up. I must have been asleep for a few minutes
You're
while
all
that was
right,
whizzed
yeah.
up. Yeah.
So
Good.
again, the dressing is, we have
Little mirin.
little mirin, we have honey, we have vinegar. Again, remember, with a dressing, right? You don't have to be confined to what it says in the book. You go into your cupboard, you have a look around, right? The main ingredients in the dressing, I would say, even if you have mayonnaise, if you have a little bit of hot mayonnaise, put the mayonnaise into a bowl, right? And then start adding the vinegar, right? So you got sharpness, then you want a bit of sweetness from honey or even a bit of sugar. And then have a look around again, and if you have some herbs in the garden, chop the herbs. It doesn't matter what it is. That's one of the most easiest, simplest dressings. Yeah? So what we're going to do, we're going to have a little competition here, right? Sorry, this gentleman has a question.
Oh, the mustard.
No,
The mustard
yeah,
milk.
we didn't. They're still out picking the mustard on the farm. so instead, we use an egg yolk. So normally I would use mustard, right, rather than egg yolk, because the mustard will
Won't
bring
have to
everything
emulsify.
together. But an egg yolk works as well. Like, I mean,
Yeah.
that is really. So what I'm going to do. Well, we have a little
I don't know,
competition.
you've no
we have a little
idea.
competition. I have no
What
idea.
happened?
Right? It just happens for me, you know. It's
Yeah.
like bang, it happens.
Good.
We have a little competition. Come on, you come up with a competition.
Oh, come on. Don't let me with that. How many fish are on his shirt? What? 186?
Okay, no, I'm going to tell you, it's over 200 and it's less than 300.
Oh.
Congratulations. You're wrong. You're wrong. But
That's
you're wrong, but
favoritism.
that's the closest. So we have one more. Come on.
What's the competition this
what's
time?
What's the
competition this time?
number? Oh,
What's competition?
what's the
Come on.
competition this time? How old is Darina Allen?
Oh, I told them. What? Yay! He got it. 75.
Well done.
Plus. Yeah. Good. Well
Okay,
done.
well done. So, thank you. Enjoy that, Jen.
Good. That's
And we're
so
going
nice.
to set the microphone down in a minute, and we don't want you to lie, yeah? Because we will know if you're lying, yeah? So will we do one more dish?
One more dish.
Have
yeah.
we
How
time,
we
yeah?
doing?
Please.
How are we doing on
We're
time? We're okay.
Yeah,
Are
we're
we
okay.
okay?
aren't we?
We're good.
Yeah,
Yeah,
we're
15
okay.
minutes.
Yeah, can we have the Plaice there? So please.
The Plaice, please.
Yeah. The
Yeah,
Plaice,
coming
please.
up. Drain off the ice.
Delicious. The carrots are amazing. No, well done. The carrots are amazing.
Did you hear that? The
apparently.
kombucha.
Okay.
So look at that. Yeah.
Yeah.
But
Here,
if you
here,
notice
here,
as well, what I like about the dish is the earthiness of the pudding, the sweetness of the scallop, right? And then, which you learn something new every day. I would never have thought of cooking vegetables
Yeah.
in kombucha.
Yeah.
I'd be like,
Yeah.
doesn't make sense. But
I'm going to try it on Monday.
yeah,
Good, good, good.
so
Lovely. Oh, a lovely place.
lovely. Oh my God, look at that. Can everybody see that?
Yes.
Right? Look at that. Look how
Lovely.
beautiful and
Yeah.
shiny it is. And one of the most important things about buying flatfish and Plaice, see those orange dots there, right? The stronger they are, the brighter they are, the better they are. Another little thing, if you notice what I'm doing, right? Which I know sounds a bit rough, but I learned this from a fisherman 30 years ago. He said, Martin, I'll show you how to pick up any fish in the world, right?
Yeah.
Pick them up by the eyes, right? That's these two eyes, by the eyes. And I said, what do you mean? Well, you said he can't see and he can't bite you. But
This
it's
fellow's gone
honestly,
past biting anyway.
But it is 100% true, right?
Yeah.
If you get any fish in the world, right? This is a flatfish, probably a little easier to handle. But look at it there. I don't have to worry because it's not going to slip me, right? Because I
Yeah.
haven't
You've
gripped
got
there.
a good
you know?
grasp of it anyway
Yeah,
as well.
I
Yeah.
haven't gripped there.
Yeah.
But also,
The other side,
the
lovely white.
Yeah,
Yeah.
With the round fish, right? Imagine with the round fish, and they have a lot of kind of spikes on them and that. If you catch them in the middle, right, the chances are you could end up being spiked. No.
No.
So, Darina, can I ask you a personal question?
Depends.
In front of everybody else.
Yes.
The decision to come from the Midlands down to East Cork.
Well, that was... so what, in other words, how I ended up here?
Yeah.
Well, basically, I went to hotel school in Dublin called Bruce Street in the 60s, early 60s, I suppose. And a long time before many of you were born, I was educated by Dominican nuns who really wanted me to be a career woman, like all my classmates, to do law, do the science. Watch him. Look at how quickly he's doing this. And anyway, all I wanted to do was cook or to garden. And the nuns were saying, you're never going to need that, my dear. You're going to have a cook or a gardener or whatever. And anyway, I persisted. But remember, at that stage, well, you won't remember, but cooks or chefs had absolutely no status. You never heard of them. It was always the owner of the hotel or restaurant and so on. And apart from that, men were chefs and women couldn't get a job in a good top restaurant kitchen. So anyways, near the end of the... Yay, God, I hope you watched it. Yay, we want a
Fabulous, darling.
clap for that. Exactly.
Go on, please.
And so anyway, everybody else in my class, quite a small class, as only about a month before the end of the course, had got a job as an assistant manager.
Thank you.
And that's what you'd aspire to in one of the top hotels in Dublin or something. You'd have a lovely little uniform and a badge saying you were assistant manager. As far as I was concerned, that was another name for slave. I didn't want that. I really wanted to get into a kitchen, make soufflés or that sort
Beautiful,
of thing.
yeah.
Anyway, I thought were very fancy. And so on. But so anyway, one day, you never know in your life what's the tiny thing that can change the course of the rest of your life. And it was this day in the corridor, one of the senior lecturers met me and she said, I hear you haven't got a job yet. Why haven't you got a job? And I said, well, I really want to cook and I can't get into Russell or Jammy's or anywhere. And I want to learn more about fresh herbs and everything. She said to me, you're far too fussy, can't you be like the rest of them? Anyway, and then I said, I really want to learn more about fresh herbs and I make a terrine. That sounded very exotic. And I was desperate to make homemade ice cream. So she said to me anyway, funny thing, had a dinner with some friends the other night. They were talking about this woman down in Cork, this extraordinary woman. Now, this was all in incredulous tones, okay?
And back when there was no phones and no social media.
And when Ballymaloe was out in the sticks, okay? So she had this woman who's opened a restaurant in her own house, right out in the country on a farm. And she writes the menu every day, depending on what's fresh and in the garden. Now, remember, this is a time when restaurants opened. The chef wrote the menu. It could be the same 10 years later. So the idea of actually changing the menu every day was considered to be incredibly amateurish. And then she said, and they're in the middle of a farm and they have Jersey cows and she makes her own ice cream and they have a walled garden and blah, blah, blah. And she just cooks whatever and they're near Ballycotton and so on. I couldn't believe it. It was like ticking all the boxes. And so I said, oh my God. And she couldn't remember her name. But anyway, she said to me, I'll ask my friends. And she came back a few days later with a piece of paper in her hand. And she said, that's the woman, write to her. And the name on the piece of paper was Myrtle Allen, who became my mother-in-law. So I became a member of the family by the simple expedient of marrying the boss's son. That's how it's done. There you go.
Well
anyway,
done. Well, isn't that a beautiful story? Not at all. Isn't that a beautiful story?
So the rest, you never know what's the little thing that's going to change the course of your life. That was it.
But if you look there now, see, I'm nice and relaxed because I know this piece of Plaice is going to cook in about 3 minutes.
Yeah.
So, look, but again, if you notice what I done, okay, like I say, I'm a chef, but I was a fishmonger for 7 years and I learned the industry inside out and I got to know everybody around the country and I got to know the seasons and what's in season when it's not in season. Plaice, believe it or not, is coming back into season. In the spring, Plaice, I mean, obviously they have a lot of roe in them, right? So we try any flatfish kind of February, March, and maybe into middle of April. We try to stay away from them. And we encourage the fishermen, do not catch them. Because all those babies that are inside in that Plaice, in the roe, in the black sole, in the John Dory, I mean, if they come into us and we cut it, you're looking at the future is gone into a fish stock. That Plaice now, if you notice, is beautiful. There was no roe whatsoever. The other thing I will say to you is, and again, going back to the fishmonger, right? Fishmonger's skill is in filleting it, right? Your skill is in cooking it and purchasing it, right? So remember that. Don't be getting all gung-ho and feeling adventurous and said, oh, I'll take that home and I'll cook it. I'll cut it. The chances are you wouldn't take a cow home from the butcher and say, here, I'll kill him myself, yeah? So remember that, yeah? Now, the other thing I would like to say, yeah, that's it. Donegal rapeseed oil, right? What I'm going to use here, again, only came upon it today when I went shopping, yeah? Lemon-scented rapeseed oil. I think it should sound lovely. Do you think so? Yeah. Right? So, again, trick is very hot pan. Right, with this one, I will give it a little bit more oil, right? Because there's going to be more moisture in the Plaice than what would be in the scallop, yeah? So, again, most important thing, and I want you all to say it out loud. Fish needs...
Salt.
Salt. It always needs a bit of seasoning. When I hear people say, oh, I found a bit bland. Oh, I cooked it, and I said, did you season it? No. Well, you know.
And it also firms it up, doesn't it?
It firms it up, exactly, yeah.
Firms it up.
So, we'll go in with that. Right, what we'll do here now, how many plates have we? 2?
2. Do you want more?
All right, okay, well then we'll, no, two is enough here. I think 2 is enough. So we need to, somebody come up with an idea for a competition for 2.
What's the good question?
We could ask what's Martin's age, actually, that could be the next one, yeah.
I think I divulged it earlier. Darina,
Tracy.
We'll see if they were listening. I did divulge it earlier.
Oh, did you?
62.
Oh,
how old is the shirt? 12 years old. 12 years old is the shirt.
My God, they're
they're listening.
To your every word.
Serena, they're listening. Yeah? Isn't it great? Lord have mercy, my dad. My dad was born 3 miles away from here in Shanagari.
Really?
Right?
I
Yeah,
knew that.
my dad was born in Shanagari. Yeah? So I have a great affection with here, right? So again, remember now what I said to you, look. Always put it in and put it away from you. So the oil has gone that way. Did you get a splatter of lemon oil there? No. Okay.
So have you purposely put it on the flesh side first?
Yes, I like to put a Plaice on the flesh side, right?
Yeah.
Because I want that lovely intense colour on it. And from up here, I can get the lovely aromas of the lemon oil, but I can get that lovely sweetness of Plaice. You know the way Plaice has a special, it just has a special flavour, different to every other
fresh
fish.
Plaice, yeah.
Yeah, and I can get that. And again, now, if you notice, what have I done? I've done nothing. Only talked, as my wife says. But I've done nothing, and I'm not going to do anything with it. So while I'm waiting for that, and I came around, and I said, oh, my God, look. Again, we're doing a dish at the moment in Fishy Fishy, and we're using pearl onions, sultanas, crispy capers, and lemon zest. So what have we? We've sweet, we've oniony, we have salt from the capers, right? And it's going down a bomb. Everybody loves it. And it's very versatile. You can use it with anything. So I thought, and I came here, and I said to myself, okay, we'll need a bit of sweetness, so we have the apricot. Then I looked around, and I found a chili. Who doesn't like chilies?
This is a habanero,
You're not going to win the competition, so. So again with the chili now, look, we'll go with probably about that much. So what am I looking for here? I'm looking for the combination of sweet and heat. Then for the salty, in the background there, I stole some anchovies. So I thought, okay, lovely, the anchovies.
Salty.
Yeah. The sweetness. We're going to add a little bit of lime. I know you're all looking at the pan now and you're going to say, when is it going to turn it? When is it going to turn it? I think it's almost there. But if I could walk around with the pan and you can smell the freshness of the sea here, right? And the sweetness of the Plaice, right? It is absolutely stunning, yeah? So what we're going to do here now, turn it over. Whoop. Now, can you see that? Look at that for colour.
Judged.
Look at that for colour, yeah? Whoop. Right? And again now, I'm going to give that about a minute more. That's all, about a minute more, right? So we have everything here, sweet, salty. Again, what I say to people is you can cook everything in one pan. This is a one-pan job, right? Don't be afraid, right? So I think we'll give it a little bit of spring onion. Again, imagine, right, if you use shallots. Shallots are beautiful with fish. Leeks are really nice with fish. Leeks. So if you notice here now, see how fresh this is. Do you know the reason why it's popping up? because it's so fresh, right? That's
Rigor
honesty.
mortis.
Yeah, look, it's like, so again with that, look, what I do, I'll just pop it down there for a second. We have 3 pieces of fish. Did you go to
plate.
Matt's? We have 3 pieces of fish and she brings 2 plates.
I'm fired.
Miss. But sorry, going back to, so my dad was born in Shanahan, but what I've learned is both my great-grandparents were school teachers. Thank you. I was like, so I have 2 nephews now that are school teachers, and you know what? Going back to not being a teacher, but I have no secrets. I don't think Darina has any secrets. We might have some of them that we don't tell you about, but in general, I love giving away the knowledge, right? I'm delighted when I can give knowledge away and I can teach somebody, and the pleasure I get out of that is, you know what? So always, don't ever be afraid to give away your secret, right?
Well, it's brilliant if you're teaching cooking, because you can change somebody's life by sharing something, a lovely simple thing they make every day. So it's not quite the same with the maths book.
Exactly, yeah. So what we're going to do, we'll carry on with the lemon oil again here now, right? So I'm going to put another little bit in there. And look, I'm going to be very adventurous. I'm going to put it all in together. Now, and look what I'm doing here. Can you see the colour alone, right? With food, I believe, right? With food also, it's very important that visually it's good, you know? It has to be visual. There's a lot of different colours in that. Okay, and then we'll put lemon. I was going to put lime. Somebody stole my lime, but that's all right. That's okay.
So
that's
it's
okay.
lime.
Do you know what? They say it's hard to get good staff.
What did you say?
I'm going to be shot later. I'm going to be shot later.
I agree.
Oh, yeah. So look, what we'll do a bit of both, right? We'll do a bit of lemon and a bit of lime. And what am I looking for here, right? I'm looking the contrast between the sweet, the heat, the salty, and the acid, right? So collectively now, there's our dish done, yeah? Now, can you get those lovely aromas? Get lovely lemon oil.
Delicious,
Yeah. So again, the competition. Who came up with the competition?
Well, they knew the answers to all the competitions were stuck.
So we have to come up with a better competition, right? Okay. Is there any kids in the audience? Any kids? Yes?
Yeah.
Big kid. This young lad here. Can you come up here for a second, please? Yeah, good boy. Come on.
Oh, well done.
Come on, good boy. Good boy. What's your name? Kirla. That's the most unusual name. Sorry. Irla. Come up here, Irla. Right?
Wow, well done.
Where are you from?
Flaughcuil Éireann 2023.
Waterford.
Yeah.
Do you play hurling?
Yeah,
Good boy, yeah.
Well done.
And who do you play hurling with?
I'm
Abbeyside. Oh, well done, yeah.
That's in Dungarvan, is it?
Abbeyside,
Yeah.
Dungarvan, yeah. So, did you ever wash the plate for your mum and dad? And the pan and the pot? And... No, okay. That's all right. Look, you're that little bit, you're spoiled at the moment. Like we were never spoiled. I was sent out when I was 12, yeah? There was 8 of us in the house, right? 8 kids. My mother, my father, my grandmother, and my grandfather, and we lived in 3 bedrooms.
Oh.
No word of a lie, yeah? And when I bring my kids home now, they go, and they're trying to add up 12 3 beds. Well, I said there was a bunks there, there was a bunk there, there was whatever. But I'm going to ask this lad, do you like fish?
Yeah.
Okay.
A little bit.
A little bit, that's okay.
A little bit.
So no pressure now, right? When I do demonstrations, I always encourage the young kids to come up because, as you know, kids never lie.
Tuck in.
Tuck in, yeah, and don't be, yeah. Good boy.
Well done.
That's really nice.
Oh, well done. No, congratulations.
Share it with your mum and dad. Well done.
And here's a little present for your mum, yeah?
Lovely fishy fish,
Right.
it?
We have one lady, actually, if we have 2 minutes, it's the lady with the oyster ice cream
Sarah.
in the house.
Yeah. And also,
Sarah?
and actually Tracy's just come up with another competition for me. Basically, she said, what age would Myrtle Allen have been this year?
Bring your plate with you
Yeah,
and let your
and who
parents
said
taste
that?
it, yeah?
100. Well
here,
done.
look.
Can we give it that some to that lady over there?
Fabulous.
We can, of course.
Great
Yeah,
question.
good.
Where Okay.
She'd have been her 100th anniversary was this a couple of weeks ago. Fishy Fishy hand-painted oyster shells. Look at this. How beautiful is that? So what, people could put their salt in it? Pepper?
Yeah, you can put your salt in it, you can put a little nightlight in it. And what I think, like all chefs, right, I hate waste. I
Yes.
love to utilize everything.
Yeah.
We go through, in the summertime, I think we go through about 100 dozen oysters a week, right? So that's 1,200 shells, right? So we use them, we wash them, we put tartar sauce in them, and there was a build-up of shells. And so, you know, I was saying to the chef one day, what are we going to do? And then we came up with the idea that now it says hand-painted, but we actually spray them. We cheat. And what we do, we put them into little mesh bags like that, and we give them out as gifts. And some of our guests actually look and they say, how much? And depending on the mood of the manageress, she could say 10, 20, 50. I said, look, whatever you think. So, thank you. Enjoy
That's
those.
lovely. Well done.
And
Good.
Darina, I have one last one,
Yeah.
because most important, the inspiration for the first dish was Miss Kombucha. Now,
Well done.
enjoy that. Thank you.
Oh, fantastic. Martin, thank you so much. Martin Shanahan from Fishy Fishy and all the other surf and turf and all the rest of it. Where are you, Tracy? Thank you
Tracy,
so
come on in.
much, Tracy.
Well done.
Yeah, well done.
Well done.
Good, good, good.
Well done.
And thanks to all of you for coming. And remember, if you're in Kinsale to swing by, mind you, you'll need to ring ahead and book, because it's nearly always overbooked, or not overbooked, but booked, or a queue around the corner. So, but you can ask for special treatment, considering you're at this jam. Isn't that right?
Exactly, 100%. Yeah. But
Fantastic.
again, I would like you to think about what we spoke about, and the philosophy is, right? The shopping is almost as important as the cooking, right?
Yeah.
Because if you don't buy right, you can't cook right.
Yeah.
You know, it's like in business, if you don't buy right, you can't sell right. But definitely, it's all about the purchase, you know?
And if the one little tip about fresh fish is, doesn't matter what the fishmonger says to you or how he winks at you or whatever, fresh fish does not smell of fish.
Doesn't smell.
If you're blindfolded, well, right up to your nose and you can barely work out what it is.
Yeah.
But anyway, you've written how many books now?
3.
3, fantastic.
3, and
are
sorry.
they here?
No.
Oh, for
you know,
God's sake.
they've been such good bestsellers.
Oh dear, yeah. Oh God. Anyway, I don't know if they were in the box in the boot of his car.
Yeah.
But anyway, tell us the name so people can look out for them if necessary.
We have one called Surf and Turf, which is with myself and Paul Flynn, if you remember that TV series.
Yes.
We have one of those. We have one called Martin's Mad About Fish. And at the end of it, my wife says, no, Martin's mad.
Yeah.
But we have Martin's Mad About Fish, and then we have the Irish Seafood Cookbook as well, yeah?
Yeah.
So if you get a chance, definitely, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And the second, I love the second TV series was called Martin's Still Mad About Fish.
Yeah,
So
yeah,
after
it's
all
true.
that, yeah.
It's true. And if you remember John Spillane, yeah?
No.
John Spillane sang the first verse of the first 19 seconds that became famous around the world. People were sending me videos from the Opera House in Sydney. And they're like, Martin, they're talking about you over here. I'm like, John. So John is quite a regular guest of ours in Fishy Fishy. And every time he comes in, I said, John, have you the second verse ready? I have. He said, in the third and the fourth. Well, I said, would you pitch it to RT and we might get a second or third series out of it, you know?
Well done.
So,
Now, how about, we're doing let's
Yeah.
introduce here. Lovely.
I can talk to this.
Yes, you can talk to this one.
Yeah.
I'll talk and cook at the same time.
Yeah, that's fine. Hi, everyone. I'm just crashing your lovely demo here.
not at all. It's a pleasure having you. Yeah?
So my name is Sarah Brown. I have a business called Oysum, which is a culinary events business focused on celebrating Irish oysters and showcasing Irish ingredients, bringing the two together. I teach people how to shuck oysters, and I go around the country doing events and workshops on oysters. I also make oyster and seaweed ice cream, which we're serving in our stall down in the corner of the big shed, so you can call down to us and try some of it if you'd like. And I'm going to just show you quickly how to shuck an oyster while we're here.
Can I ask for the audience?
Yeah. Okay, so we have 2 species of oysters in Ireland. There are Pacifica gigas, which is this oyster. It's the most commonly farmed oyster in the country.
It would be known as a rock oyster as well.
Also known as a rock oyster.
And that's, if I can just interject, that's all year round, right?
Yeah.
That's 12 months of the year.
So
yeah?
they're available year round because they've been bred to not reproduce during the summer. These ones are native oysters from Rossmore Oyster Farm in Cork Harbour, and these are quite difficult to produce. They die pretty easily. They take 4 to 5 years to grow to market size, and they're really susceptible to any kind of change in the ocean. So oyster farmers take a big risk by producing these, and they can't farm them during the summer months because they're in their reproduction phase. So that's where the whole thing about oysters are only edible from September to April. It's coming from these and their reproduction phase during the summer.
They are the most
Delicious.
Delicious,
Yeah,
yeah.
they
I think they're slightly nutty, you know, you get that hazelnutty, everything about them. The other one, because I'm reading that lady over here on the left-hand side, and she wants to know, how do you know which oyster has a pearl in it?
Actually, they get pearls from...
They do, yeah.
Yeah,
But I don't know how you know, but I've often
know
opened them,
until you
and they've
opened it.
little pearls there.
Yeah, so the pearls actually come from a little grain of sand getting trapped. When oysters are in the sea, they open and close because they're letting water and stuff through them. And a grain of sand can get trapped in the oyster, and as that grain of sand moves around the oyster as it opens and closes throughout its lifetime, and the pearl literally develops from that grain of sand and it being aggravated.
Kind of noise,
Yeah,
doesn't it?
yeah, exactly.
Keeps on, spinning something
Yeah,
around.
and makes something really beautiful in the end. Yeah, so that's how that works. Can I give this mic
go
to
on ahead.
someone? Yeah, perfect. And so for the shocking, there's 2 ways that you can open oysters. You can go in at the hinge, which is at the top here, the pointy bit, or you can go in at the side. For the native oysters, we pretty much always go in at the hinge because they're really hard to open.
Give it a tray for the oyster shells, then we can scoop it and...
Open. There are competitions and stuff.
Sorry lads, we won't be long.
all of the
We
oyster
won't be long,
opening.
yeah. We're just anting it on, yeah. Here, look. It's just so when, yeah, this will do great. Yeah. And then
my
we little
God.
scoop or a spoon
Yeah.
that I can...
Really difficult to do. You also have to do them all perfectly, which is not an easy thing. So to go in, we just want to get in with the tip of our knife. Literally, you're just going in with a couple of mil with the knife. You're not getting all the way into the oyster. You're trying your best not to stab any of the meat.
Are we? Can you see it there on the monitor? Are you in the right place? Yeah.
Yeah? Okay. So just in with the tip of the knife like that, and you'll start to see a little bit of water coming out there. And then we're just, as we're
So
going
you're
in,
kind of wiggling it.
yeah, we're sort of levering it against its bottom shell, and then that'll let us see what's going on there. So I can see the oyster is kind of open now, but I need to get back to this point of the oyster to cut the adductor muscle, which is what's holding the shell together. So we just very carefully run our knife along the top shell and loosen the meat.
So you're slicing it off the top shell.
So I'm slicing it off
Yeah.
the top shell.
Good.
Trying not to cut any meat off it because the adductor muscle
Beautiful.
is actually where a lot of the flavour is in the oyster, because it's where it stores its glycogen.
So is that the adductor muscle, that one there?
That's the adductor muscle
Yeah.
there. So that's
And
what
it
you're trying
connects
to
to
cut.
the top, yeah.
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 So it connects to the top shell and the bottom shell, and you need to cut both of them, and then that's the oyster release.
But again, if you notice now, when she cuts it, you go in under the oyster, right?
Yeah.
You try not to damage the meat. So with your knife, try and go in under the oyster, yeah?
And, you know, you might, I mean, a lot of people might say, well, we wouldn't have an oyster now. I've seen people go at them with pliers and screwdrivers and all sorts of things.
Yeah.
But honestly, even though you
No.
mightn't have oysters very often, basically it's really worth having an oyster knife.
Yeah,
And actually you have to exert quite a lot of pressure so you can really do yourself a damage if
Yeah,
the knife
indeed,
slips
That's
and
why
so
I wear
on.
the glove,
Yeah.
and I also use the tea towel underneath just
Yeah.
to protect my hands.
Yeah.
And then we just, this is the jigas. They actually look quite different inside them. The native, it has much more tannins in it
Yes.
because it's a little bit older, so it develops in flavour, and the colour is sort of that peachy, and these ones are more of a white colour. But that's what you want your oysters to look like when someone shucks them for you. You shouldn't be missing any meat. There shouldn't be meat stuck to the top shell because that's where the fat is, and you're losing flavour again if you're missing that meat. And to be honest, most oysters are served without that meat, and they're also served with like a really messy adductor.
Yeah.
So if you see it, you can tell them to come and get me for a workshop. So
Call,
they can learn.
call Sarah at 0800. Yeah.
Oh, well done.
Yeah.
And if you don't like oysters, again, a lot of people say to me, oh, I don't like oysters. Well, you must try harder,
Yeah.
okay?
Yeah.
They're have a few, and then suddenly you'll think, oh, my God, I can eat a half dozen. And they're very high in zinc, and you know what zinc does? Anyway,
No,
tell us about your ice
Darina,
cream.
tell us what to zinc to.
We're going on to ice cream.
Swiftly moving along.
Swiftly moving on.
So I have oyster and seaweed
What?
ice creams. Oyster and seaweed ice creams, which are made with an infusion process. So we infuse the oyster or the seaweed in cream and buttermilk and make a custard from that and then churn it into an ice cream. If you like oysters, the oyster ice cream tastes like an oyster with some like milky after. If you've ever had an oyster and buttermilk, it's sort of like that. And then the seaweed one is kind of an easier one for people who are maybe more afraid of oysters. It tastes like seaweed, so it's like salty milk, I guess.
Yeah.
And to serve with.
And we serve them with. The oyster ice cream we serve with pomegranate molasses, which just gives like a nice fruity kind of rich note to it. And then the seaweed one we're serving with sweet kelp crisps, which we have on the stand. I didn't bring with me. But I'll give you some. If you want to try some oyster ice cream, I'll scoop some really fast. And then
So would you serve them in these?
yeah, so we serve them in the oyster shells. We
yeah.
clean them out and then serve them in that. Yeah.
That's
Yes.
a unique idea.
Yeah, cool. Okay.
Okay, fantastic. Thank you very much indeed, and thank all of you for coming. Good. So if anybody wants a bit of oyster ice cream, I think you come up here. Good.
But again,
Thank you. Sorry?
this was my first time tasting it, yeah?
Yes.
And I was blown away. I was like, my God, it is absolutely, if Häagen-Dazs could make ice cream, they'd be very proud of that, yeah? Honestly, it is stunning, It is stunning, yeah? Yeah. So,
Okay.
Emanan is... Okay, so if you please all stay there, we have a wonderful couple coming. Emanan is from... Is Cafe in Cork, yeah?
So lucky.
Now, so please, in 10 minutes, please stay. But I guarantee you, any of you, taste that ice cream. You will be blown away, yeah? Okay, and again, thank you. It was a pleasure. And I'd like to say on a personal note to Darina, thank you very, very much. Thank you. And yes, look, well done. Well done. Thank you. And did you see how we winged it there? Did you see? It's amazing how you can wing it.
Well, I have to say a big, huge thank you to you for making this happen today. And I know you say you're taking responsibility for the ingredients, but I think it falls down to me. So I say a big thank you.
Not at all, yeah. Not at all, yeah.
Legend.
Thank you, lads. Thank you. And enjoy the rest of the festival, yeah.